As a theologian, he gave us the chance to know God in a deep way. And at the same time, we could feel his closeness, because he was both a great and humble person. Everybody could understand him.
For me, he was an innovator, mainly because he was the keeper of what the faith of the Church has been for 2,000 years. In these regards, he was an innovator because he was able to safeguard what will never go away, which is the ground of our faith and of our church life.
Pope Benedict was a good pope, in every sense. His decision to step down was a wise one at the time. It was a choice made for God, and a strong change was needed in the Church.
And let's cross now to France 24. Seema Gupta, who's in Rome. Just how many people are queuing up to view the late Pope's body, Seema?
Well, the line started in the early hours of the morning, even before the doors of the Basilica were even open to the faithful to pay their last respects. The body of the Pope Emeritus was moved in the early hours of the morning as well from the monastery that he lived in for the last 10 years and where he died at the age of 95. And so he was placed in the position inside the Basilica in a simple ceremony, and then the doors were open. In the queue, we've seen nuns, priests, but also lay people who just want to bid their final farewell and pay their last respects to him. The body will be lying in state till Wednesday, every day till 7 p.m. So it's a chance for everyone who wants to be able to come down to St. Peter's Basilica. Among the first there this Monday morning, we saw the Italian President, Sergio Mattarella, paying his last respects, and then in a separate delegation, the Italian Prime Minister as well, Giorgia Meloni. Now, the Pope's body, the Pope Emeritus, is dressed in red papal robes. He's wearing a gold-edged mitre on his head, and he's carrying a rosary in his hands. And that's what the faithful will see when they file past. Now, everything will culminate, of course, as you mentioned, on Thursday, that unprecedented funeral led by a sitting Pope, Pope Francis, for his predecessor, who made that historic decision back in 2013 to resign, becoming the first Pope to do so in some 600 years.
And with that in mind, how different will this funeral be to that of the funeral of Pope John Paul II in 2005?
Yes, that was the last papal funeral that we saw back in 2005. Let's not forget Pope John Paul II at the time had a papacy of some 27 years. And it's very different this time round. You don't have those bells tolling at the time of his death. There's no proclamation being made about his death at St. Peter's Square. And even the funeral and the mourning period, very different as compared to 2005. Back then, you had some 2 million people pass by the coffin and by the body of the Pope, John Paul II at the time. They queued over a period of 4 days, both in the day as well as during the night. 300,000 people attended that funeral. The piazza was packed with people as well as the roads nearby, and it was massive. You saw the presence of presidents, prime ministers and kings as well. This time round, it's quite different. The security officials expect some 60,000 or so to attend the funeral, and the only official delegations that have been invited are those from Italy as well as Benedict XVI native Germany. Anyone else can attend in a private capacity, but not as an official delegation. And the Vatican has been very clear. They say this funeral will be a solemn and simple affair, as is the wishes of the Pope Emeritus, Benedict XVI. So clearly a distinction there. A papal funeral, not for a sitting Pope, but one who made that decision 10 years ago to retire because of his advanced age, because of his health situation. I think you had this situation in the last 10 years of 2 popes at the Vatican, and now you have just simply that one who will be leading that funeral on Thursday.
Seema Gupta reporting there from Rome. Thank you.